Welcome to Alive and Well, the podcast for the new era of high achievers. You're done burning out, and you're ready to lead, work, and live in a rhythm that honors both your brilliance and your body. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a trial attorney turned nervous system strategist, and I've lived the burnout story. I know what it's like to chase your goals at the expense of your well-being. And I also know it doesn't have to be that way. Here, we're redefining success. It's where productivity feels peaceful, boundaries feel like freedom, and energy comes from within. Each week, I'll share practical tools for nervous system regulation, time mastery, and somatic strategies so you can show up with clarity, calm, and confidence in every part of your life. Because you, my friend, were given a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So here's to life and living it fully. This is the path to feeling alive and well. Let's dive in. It's Michelle here. Welcome back to Alive and Well. So glad to have you guys with me today. We're going to talk about how we can help put some separation between our work day and then when we come home and transition into the other roles that we carry out. I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but for the longest time, that was a real struggle for me. Like when I was at work, I was in go mode. I was doing all the things that needed to be done and handled, running my law practice. But I had a really hard time turning that off when it was time, and then transitioning and cueing to my body and my mind that we were transitioning into like work's going away for the day. And now we're going to be, helping with homework and making dinner and being present with the family and the kids and manage that stuff. I would just close my laptop, but my brain and my body wouldn't get the message, right? They would stay buzzing and thinking about everything that needed to be done and running through scenarios and the checklist and what needed to be done tomorrow and the emails that would come through and the conversations I had to have. And I would just run through all of it and find myself just mindlessly picking up my phone to just get like one more thing done or check on one more thing or respond to one more thing. And there's a price to that. And I was starting to see it, right? Like I was just kind of feeling snappy and irritable with my family because I felt like I was always being interrupted. I felt really restless in my body. It was hard for me to actually be present in the afternoons and evenings. And I was just starting to notice that I was subconsciously looking for anything, whether it was TV or scrolling or social media or what have you, that could just kind of numb all of that like constant chatter in my head of everything that needed to be done. And I got really frustrated because none of that stuff really seemed to work. And the stress and that buzzing and that go, go, go energy just kind of stuck around, waiting for me when whatever I was trying to distract myself with had passed or ended. So if that sounds familiar, if you've ever struggled with quote unquote turning it off at the end of the workday, I'm believing this episode is going to be helpful for you, because what I want to do today is I want to walk you through, maybe 5 to 10 minute post-work transition routine that really helps to support your nervous system. So I've designed this to help you release the stress of the day, to help you reset your nervous system state and really transition from work back into your home life, into your late afternoon, evening, with the ability to be more present, to experience more peace, right? And more joy. So let's kind of start with the science behind why it's really hard for us to make that switch, right? Why do we struggle so much to shut down one part of our day and our brains and our being and then turn on another? But before we do, I would love to ask, if you have not yet left the show a 5-star rating or a short review, if you could do so today. It would take, 15, 20 seconds. But it would really mean so much to me. And more than that, it's how we get these episodes in front of other women like you. So other women who are struggling to regulate their nervous system and are experiencing burnout or anxiety or are stuck in a stress response, I would love to get them these tools that I teach here on the podcast. And if you leave a 5-star rating and a short review, you can help spread the word. So I thank you in advance if you're going to leave a 5-star rating and a short review today. Y'all are the best, and I appreciate you so, so much. Okay, so let's talk about why it's so hard to shut the workday down and then transition. When you've been, quote unquote, on all day, right? All day, just urgency, one task to the next, one meeting to the next, one phone call to the next, right? People needing you, just anticipating what the next thing is, watching the time. When you've been on all day, your body has probably been running mostly in your sympathetic circuit of your nervous system, sympathetic activation. That's your fight or flight mode. So when that happens, our body needs to respond to that activation, right? And produce and release hormones so that we can do what we need to do and get things done and be sharp and move quickly and make decisions and all of that, right? So stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline are busy all day long, keeping us alert and engaged. And it's not a bad thing. It's adaptive. It's how we get through a busy workday. But here's the rub. Those stress hormones, they don't just like turn off when you close your laptop, right? They don't just like evaporate from your body when it's time to end the workday. Your body actually needs a signal that the quote unquote stress of the workday is over. You're safe. It's okay to relax. It's okay to be present. It's okay to not be responding and checking and working. And that it's time to shift back into a parasympathetic nervous system state. So the state where you can rest and digest, right, is the nickname for it. And it's really your state of restoration. But without that signal that like, hey, the stress of the day is over, our nervous system stays wired. And that's why after a day of work, we might find ourselves feeling kind of restless and irritable and edgy and reaching for things to just like to help take the edge off, right? The glass of wine, the food, the TV, the scrolling, the things that give us a temporary distraction, but they don't actually resolve anything, right? They don't actually get to the root, to the underlying state. And I think here's where it gets really interesting is that the transition we're talking about from the work to the rest of the day, so much of it is actually about how we are modulating or boosting our happy hormones. So things like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. You guys probably hear about these things all the time. We know dopamine, that gives us that sense of reward. Dopamine is our motivator. Serotonin is our happy hormone, right? It boosts our mood and our emotional balance. Oxytocin is the love hormone that helps build our connection with others, trust of others, gives us the warm and fuzzies. And then our endorphins, right? Those are the chemicals that help us ease pain. They help us manage stress while helping us create this natural sense of just feeling better. And when we intentionally stimulate these systems, we're not actually just distracting ourselves, right? It's not avoidance or denial, checking out, zoning out. We're actually changing our physiology. And what we're doing is we're teaching our body, hey, the workday is over, right? This part of the day, this go, 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 like high energy, on alert, got to respond, like flooding our system with all of that part's over. It's time to be present. It's time to laugh. It's time to be fun. It's time to connect. It's time to love. It's safe now, right? Come home. And for me, it's not even just about biology. So much of this transition, you guys, is about alignment, right? Alignment. And I think every time we experience that shift from the workday to our afternoon and evening, it's an opportunity for us to lay down our burdens. Lay down our burdens at the end of the day, right? Everything we've been carrying through the workday, bam, lay down, give it back to God. And the practice I want to lead you guys through is one way, I think, to actually live that out, to hand over the stress of the day, hand over the things that you're worrying about and managing and trying to control, hand over the striving and all the pressure that you feel, and really just step back into the peace that He promises. So here's what I'd love to do for you guys. I want to guide you through a short simple routine that combines some breathing. We're going to get into the body, some somatic release, and some prayers. It takes maybe, 5 to 10 minutes. We'll see once we record it. And you can do it anywhere. You can do it sitting in your car before you go inside the house after work. You can do it in your office before you leave. You can do it, in your living room. You can do it in the carpool line. You can do it just standing in your kitchen. Put your earbuds in as you're starting to make dinner. However you want to incorporate it, you can think of it as your after work transition ritual, kind of like this reset button that'll help you reclaim your the rest of your day, your evening. If you're available right now, I would encourage you to actually, do it with me. Pause whatever you're doing if you can. And if you are driving or if you're multitasking, you can just bookmark it where you're at right now in the podcast. And come back, or you can listen to it now also, but actually come back to it later, save it, and then come back to this part of the podcast so you can start to incorporate this after your workday as you're transitioning into the time with your family. Okay, so let's jump into it and see how it goes, and let's see what you notice and how it feels. So let's start with just some gentle breathing to help you ground and downshift. So if you'd like, you can go ahead and you can place one hand on your chest. I like to do that. And I like to put the other hand on my belly. And this is just a connection with my body, with myself. Just the pressure of my hands on my chest and on my belly is regulating and soothing to my nervous system. And it also helps me to connect with how my body is moving as I breathe. And we're going to go through a pattern of breathing called physiological sighs. And here's how it works. I'll explain it to you guys once, and then we'll do it together a few times. So how it works is you're going to inhale deeply through your nose. And when it feels like you get to the top of your breath, you're going to take a second, quick sip of air, smaller inhale right on top of it. And then you're going to exhale slowly through your mouth with a sigh. If you want to do an audible sigh, like if you were annoyed with someone and you're like, you can do an audible sigh, but you really want to extend that exhale as long as you can. All right, so let's do this together for about a minute or so and start to notice the shift. Oh my gosh, I just noticed myself starting to yawn as I just did that once with you guys. Okay, let's do it. Inhale deeply through your nose. In. And at the top of your breath, another quick, and then out through your mouth, long, slow, extended exhale. Beautiful. In through your nose, 2, 3, 4. A second smaller inhale through your nose and out through your mouth. Beautiful. Let's do a few more. Inhaling deeply through your nose, 2, 3, 4. The top of your breath, another second small inhale through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Good. Wonderful. Let's do 2 more. In through your nose, deep, fill your lungs, and then at the top of your breath, another smaller inhale. And slowly exhaling through your mouth. Long, slow, let the shoulders drop, let everything kind of soften. Good. 1 more. Inhaling deeply through your nose. Smaller, quick inhale at the top. And exhaling slowly through your mouth. Beautiful. Again, letting everything soften and fall. Wonderful. All right, you can keep doing that if that felt really good, or you can just transition back to your regular rhythm of breathing. But this physiological sigh is a technique that's been studied. It's been studied at Stanford, and it's actually one of the fastest ways that we can reduce CO2 in our blood, how we can lower our heart rate, and really signal to our nervous system that it's safe to downshift. All right, now step 2. Now we're going to move a little bit So if you're able, you can stand up. If you are sitting somewhere or even driving, I think you can do this in part in a very safe way, but we're going to shake. We're just going to release some of that stored up stress in your body. So stand if you can. If you're sitting, maybe you can just start with your arms. Again, if you're driving, use your discretion, be safe. But go ahead and just start shaking. You can gently start kind of bouncing on your legs, bouncing gently, bouncing slowly. And you can just start loosening and wiggling your arms, kind of shaking out your hands, kicking your legs out and kind of shaking them out. You can do a little shimmy and wiggle your shoulders. You can kind of hula hoop your hips, but let your body really get loose. Let it get to feeling kind of silly. What I like to do with this shaking, I do this all the time, is I imagine that I'm shaking off the stress of the day and I go from top to bottom. So I just start really holding my hands up like in a goalpost and just shaking them out. We call that tree shaking. Shaking your hands, shaking your arms, kind of like you're sloughing off something, like if your hands were wet and you were just like, shaking them to dry them off. And imagine all the stress of the day just shaking out, right? The tough conversations, shake it out. The to-do list, shake it out. Like all that stress that's caused tension in your muscles, let that to just loosen and release and shake it out and let it all fall away with every shake. And you can continue to do that. Shake, shake, shake. I like to do it for about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes on the days I really need it. So if you need to pause the podcast, go ahead if you want to continue shaking, and then you can hit play again in a minute or so. But shaking is really a great way. It's really the natural way our bodies discharge stress. I mean, think about a dog, for example, right? Or any animal really. We're all wired to do this. But I remember specifically, like in Miami, we had this fenced backyard and we always had our back patio door open and my dogs would be inside. They'd see, a lizard or an iguana or a squirrel or something out in the yard and instinct would take over, right? Book it. Stressor, right? I gotta attack. And they'd go out and then, the other animal would invariably get away. And what would my dog do, right? All of a sudden, all of those hormones, stress hormones, mobilizing my dog, coursing through his body. He didn't just like sit at his desk all day and do work, right? Like we do when we experience stress. He did one of those shakes. He'd shake his whole body out, let all of that kind of dissipate, and then he'd just return to his baseline stress level and back to normal life, right? Go take a nap on the couch. We are wired the same way. And when we let ourselves shake, when we let all of that tension kind of dissolve and soften and our bodies discharge that stored stress, it helps us really reset our baseline. So that's the second part, shaking it out. And then this third part is visualization. Get yourself to a place of safety and visualization. And for me, that includes prayer. So if you're following along, go ahead and close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or just soften your gaze. Let your shoulders drop. If your jaw is tight or clenched, let it soften. If your tongue is pressed to the roof of your mouth, let that drop. And go ahead and just take a deep inhale in through your nose. And then slowly exhale through your mouth. You can purse your lips. Let that air come out really extended and slowly. Keep breathing. And I want you to picture yourself in a place where you feel deeply safe and at peace. Maybe it's, a quiet beach at sunset. Maybe it's on a lake. Maybe it's a forest trail where you love to hike and you hear nothing but birds and the rustling of the leaves. Maybe it's even like a cozy place, a cozy chair corner in your home. Whatever comes up for you, go ahead. Picture yourself there now. And just start to notice the details around you wherever you're at in your visualization. Right? Where you're visualizing yourself, what does the air feel like on your skin? Is it warm? Is it cool? Is there a breeze? What kinds of things are you hearing? Maybe you hear the waves crashing on the shore. Maybe you hear the birds chirping. Maybe it's just that delightful hum of silence. What do you smell? Can you smell the earth? Maybe the dampness. Maybe you smell the salt air. Maybe you smell one of your favorite scents. Maybe it's like a candle. Just let yourself fully arrive in this place of peace. And we're going to pair this visualization with some breath prayers. So as you inhale, you're going to silently pray a short phrase. And as you exhale, you're going to finish the prayer. So let your breath carry your prayer. All right. Inhale. God, I give you this day. And exhale, I lay down its burdens. And inhale, fill me with your peace. And exhale, and quiet my anxious heart. And inhale, your strength sustains me. And exhale, your presence restores me. And keep going at your own pace. Inhale, fill me with your peace. Exhale, quiet my anxious heart. Inhale, your strength sustains me. Exhale, your presence restores me. Inhale, God, I give you the rest of this day. Exhale, I lay down all of the stress and obligations. And just keep breathing. Thoughts are popping into your head from today, the emails, the meetings, the undone tasks. Just notice them and gently hand them back. Picture just placing them in God's hands. They're not yours to carry anymore today. Just imagine his light filling this space with you, right? Maybe it's a warm glow around you. Maybe it's a soft weight of peace, like a blanket covering your shoulders. And as you breathe, just let that light wash over you, radiating down your head and over your chest and your arms and your legs, and just quieting every racing thought, just relaxing every muscle. Safe to rest. You've done enough for today. Stay here for just a couple more breaths and let these truths sink in. Beautiful. You can go ahead. You can put one hand on your heart, another on your belly. Just a gentle pressure as you continue to breathe. This kind of self-touch actually stimulates oxytocin release, that bonding hormone. It's like giving yourself a hug, reminding your body that you're safe and you're cared for. You can even whisper to yourself, safe to rest, safe to rest. God's got me. And when you feel ready, you can go ahead and just gently start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Open your eyes if they were closed and just notice how much lighter you feel now. Right? You've actually reset and re-entered the rest of the day grounded and peaceful, present. And that's it, you guys. Less than 10 minutes. You've lowered stress hormones with breath. You've discharged tension with movement, and you've boosted serotonin and oxytocin through this visualization, really simple breath prayer and touch. And I find, and I would encourage you to practice this consistently, because when you do so, I'll find that you don't need those other numbing strategies, right? The edginess will dissipate as you learn how to transition out of work mode, and you'll start to actually crave that connection with your people naturally, right? Craving presence, craving healthier rhythms. And I think the best part of all of this is that you'll actually start to enjoy that dinner time and evening time with your family again, without feeling like the stress of work is just following you everywhere and stealing them from you. So I want to encourage you, make this a part of your 9 to 5, right? When you shut it down, take 5 to 10 minutes and do some variation of this. Maybe you just do some shaking in your office before you get into the car. Maybe as you're driving, you just do some of those physiological sighs. Maybe you do this visualization when you park your car in the driveway before you walk in to the house. Whatever it looks like, I would encourage you to bookend your workday with it and really notice how it shifts not just your body, you guys, but your mind, your relationships, your spiritual life. It will bring so much restoration to your day. All right. Thanks so much for being here with me today, giving this a shot. I love y'all so much. I'll talk to you soon.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
Thanks for listening to Alive and Well. If today's episode resonated, would you do me a favor? Take 30 seconds and leave a 5-star rating and short review. It really helps to get this show out to other people just like you who could also use the information in this podcast. And if you're ready to take the next step in regulating your nervous system, download my free Nervous System Reset Guide. It's linked right in the show notes. Inside, you'll find simple, body-based practices to help you feel more clear, calm, and connected starting today. Make sure you're following the show so you don't miss out on what's coming next, because you were made to thrive. Fully alive, fully present, and fully well. I'll see you soon.